Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming back to the Thrifting Goomba YouTube channel. My name is Michael Gentili, and I am the Thrifting Goomba, and I thank you for coming. If you're returning, thank you very much for watching another one of my videos. If you can, please hit the thumbs up, and if you're new, here's your first one. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, then ring that bell so you could see more videos as I put them out. So this is the third and final video of the So You Want to Sell on Amazon video series. In this one, we are going to talk about creating that FBA shipment. Now, last video was long. It was probably a little too longer than it should have been. I'm going to try and think about cutting that one down. But I will say it's a little difficult because here at Thrifting Goomba headquarters, we do not have a full-time videographer. Actually, we don't even have a part-time one. We have nobody. It's me. And I'm not proficient in it, so it takes a long time. So I try and do these videos actually in one shot from start to end. Or try and piece them together if I have to make multiple. So hopefully it'll be better. So normally I would go through a PowerPoint, presentation type thing. I only have a couple slides just to do the layout. Most of it is going to be sharing the screen on my screen on Seller Central. And I will have to, from time, pause it so I can cover up some personal information, that you guys shouldn't see. So with that, let's jump into this. And again, this is part 3 of So You Want to Sell on Amazon. So again, if you missed the other ones, there is a part 1 and a part 2 out there, but this is the creating the FBA shipment part. And basically, there's a few steps that we're going to do, and they are as follows. We're going to get the product ready. We're going to add the product to create a shipping plan. We're going to prep that product for the shipment. We're going to box everything up, and then you will print your shipping label, and you will bring it to UPS. So once you have done that portion of it, it actually becomes very easy. The next part of getting the product ready can actually be the hardest part of this, because you have to prep your product. And what we mean by that, or what I mean by that, is as follows. I'm going to show you some examples. For instance, this book here, okay, if you notice, it has this giant label on it. Now, you can remove the labels. There are many ways to do it. One of the things that I will use is a heat gun, and I will put the links of all the stuff that I use will be down in the description. It is an affiliate link, so if you do click on it, I will get a couple of pennies. It's just a plain old heat gun, nothing special about it. Plug it in, blows heat, it'll loosen up the sticker. From there, to help you get it off, you want to use these guys. These are called Scotty peelers. You have a plastic one and you have the metal one. And I will tell you, if you're going to use the metal one, be careful, because that metal, that's almost like using a blade to go ahead and cut you open. Now, because some of the books, when I have to take these labels off, if you see how there's a little shine right there, if you put too much heat, you could ruin it. So to make it simple for me, I bought these black labels. They are 3-inch by 2-inch. These labels on the back of this book, they are 1.5 by 2. So I take a whole row, I cut them in half, and then all I do is I'm going to take my little black label and put it over this white label. And that gets this book ready for when I'm going to put my own little personal barcode on it, that for when Amazon gets it, they scan it, I get credit for it. Now, on other books, you may have to take off labels like this one here. Or you may have to, take off labels like this one here. Again, you just heat it up a little bit, take it off. Now, when you take off a label, you may have some residue. And if you do, I use a couple different products. I use this Ronsonol lighter fluid. It actually dries very quickly, and it's good to use. And I also use, everybody knows about this stuff, Goo Gone, another one. And I just use, maybe a rag. Another thing you could use are, believe it or not, little makeup wedges. And if you go to the dollar store, you could buy probably, I don't know, 20 of them or 30 of them for $1. So they're actually, they're very easy to use. So and they just break apart. You use them and you throw them away. Use them. So that's what you need to do when you're going to prep your product. Now, if you have other stuff, like I have some other stuff back there that's going to be going, maybe you have a toy, maybe you have something, whatever it may be that you're able to sell on Amazon, you do the same thing. You just, you use the stuff, the heat gun, take the label off, use your Goo Gone or your lighter fluid, and get the residue off, and you're good to go. So we have all our products done. Now we have to build that FBA shipment. So I'm going to pause for a second, actually I don't have to. My screen is ready. So, where am I? Here I am. So what you will do, let me get myself over there, is when you come into your Seller Central, you will come over by inventory, and then you will click Manage Inventory. Now, you want to click Manage Inventory rather than FBA inventory. Now, I know you're thinking, well, wait a minute, I'm going to be sending this in FBA. Why wouldn't I do that? Well, the reason why you would not do that is if you click on FBA inventory, anything that you sold will show up there also. Manage inventory, it just shows the last things that you would have scanned in, if you remember from the video of we did about scanning them in. Now, here's the key. On the table, one of the books that I have is a book that I already have in inventory. So I did not scan it as new, okay? So I have to find that book. So what you do, because I know what the title is, I come over here, and on my keyboard, I'm going to type in what it is, and then I'm going to hit it, and then it's going to come up. Oh, I hit search, sorry. And then it says active, but I have another one of these, so I will click this little marker, little square right here, check it off. Then I'm going to come back here, hit my X. I remember the first book that I scanned, so I'm going to go back to that book, and all I'm going to do is take I'm just going to come over here, and all these little check boxes, I'm going to check them off one by one until I get to the top. This is the boring stuff. So if you had a really long list, it'll take you just a bit. Here we are, we're getting to the last ones, and that's all of them. So once you do that, you'll come over here and say Action on 22 selected. And you want to select the Send Replenishment inventory, right? So it's send or replenish. That's what we're doing. Once you do that, this screen is going to come up, and I have to pause the video here for a second. Okay, so after you press yes, you will get to this part right here, where you are creating a new shipment plan. That's what we're doing right now. We're creating a new shipment. Okay, individual or case products. Well, these are all individual, so you click on that, and then you would click Continue to Shipping Plan. Now, I've scrolled the screen up so that you can see, but what you will do here is what it's basically telling you to do is saying, please enter the quantity of sellable units that you are sending. So now you just put in the quantity of each book, and I will pause and do that right now. Okay, so as you can see, I went ahead and I added all my quantities of the books that I have. And once you get to there, you're going to press continue. Now, the next piece of this is you have to choose a category and who is going to prep them. So these are all books. So the prep work will be done by me, the merchant. What does that mean? That means I'm going to do any prep work that has to be done here. Amazon will not have to do anything. Now, the other piece is these are all books. So you have to choose one. For books, really, there is no prep needed. Now, what I will tell you is this. I do prep my books in that I put them in a poly bag. I will put them in one of these poly bags, clear poly bags with the suffocation warning. I have different sizes for different books. Again, there's a link down in the description if you would like to get some. It is not something that you have to do. A lot of people don't do it with books. I have decided that I want to do it with books. So, but again, the choice is yours if you want to or you do not want to. So we will click on continue. Once you click on continue, you'll get to this screen, which is the labeling requirements. So you will be able to print out a unique identifier that is associated with you, so that if somebody buys your book when you're in the buy box, or if someone chooses you from the list of other merchants, Amazon will look for the book with your special label on it, and then you will get credit for it. They'll pull it out of their inventory and they go from there. One of the things you always want to do here is to make sure that what the number that you had on the last screen, which was 35, that equates to the 35 that you will see here at the bottom of the screen. You see that 35 right here. Now, why use the 30 up labels? And let me get those so I can show you. I use the 30 up labels, which are the Avery 5960. I got them in bulk, and I just, as I need them, I put them in my laser printer and I go from there. So what I would do is say print labels for this page. And I will say open with Adobe. And then Adobe will open and it is going to ask me to print. So there's my laser printer. I'm going to take my labels, I'm going to put them in my printer, and I'll hit the print key. All right, so we're all set up. I hit print, and then you will not hear it, but my printer will print out all of these labels. Now, these labels will print out in the SKU order as they were entered. So if you notice, so when I did my special SKU, okay, this one right here, Dead Set a Novel, was my first one that I put in. So it'll go by the SKU. If you let Amazon arbitrarily assign a SKU number, it's going to be hard to say how these are going to come out. So once you do that, you're all done. You can actually close this. You don't need it any longer, or just minimize it. And then what will happen is you will click the word continue. So when you click continue, it is going to create a shipment plan. And what it has done, it has broken up my books into 2 shipments. It has 6 units going to Carteret, New Jersey, and it has 29 units going to Charlotte, North Carolina. So you could view the shipment contents if you want, and it'll show you what books are going, to go there. But at this point, you really only need to hit approve and continue. And then what it will do is you come up to now where it says work on the shipment. And this is where you will prep your items. And what you will do, and if I use it as an example, let me go back to full screen right here, is you will put one of these labels over each barcode of your book. So for instance, this first one is Dead Set a Novel. I will take that off. There's my black label that I had. I will put that on. And then what I will do is I will take this book. Again, I poly bag. You don't have to. I'll put it in the poly bag. I will seal that poly bag up, and then I'll put it on the side. And then what I will do is I will, you know, have them all ready, poly bagged, and then I'll come back here and I will click work on a shipment. Now, what I do just to keep as a record, I download a SKU list, and if you, I click over on the screen. If you click on that, it'll open up a text file. I usually just say, open it. Well, actually, I save it, because what I will do is I will create an Excel spreadsheet so I can just keep track of my FBA shipments. It's not something you have to do, but it is something that I go ahead and do. So now would be the time where I will take all my books. Like I said, I will now put my label on them. I will poly bag them, and then I will box them up. Once I do all that, so I'm going to cut through a bunch of stuff right here. Once I do that, I get them in my box, I weigh them, and then I will, you'll go through and you will buy your shipping label. You select UPS, and we will go through that part. You're going to select UPS. That's what I always do. It just makes it easier. You're going to get a better rate than if you try and use FedEx, or if you try and use USPS. So you buy it inside of the Amazon, and then what will happen is you'll get a PDF to print out, and I will show you that once I get to that point. All right, so once you download, well, what I do, I should go back there. So what I will do is I will say download a SKU list. That'll create a text file. I save the text file. Make sure you change it. It comes as a TSV file. You want to save it to TXT. After I save it to a TXT file, I will create a blank spreadsheet with the date, and then I just call it FBA shipment. And then from there, it will create, I will open it up in the Excel spreadsheet. Now, there are some things that you need. There are some things that you don't need. Here's that merchant SKU that we talked about, what I created. Here is the title, the ASIN, the FN SKU, the external ID, which is typically going to be your UPC code, or it could be your ISDN node, the condition of your book, the who will prep, the type, and the who will label. I get rid of those fields. I don't need those fields. Typically what I will do is I will add a line in here, and I will just type in shipping cost. So I have that here, and then I will just, just box this just to make it like this. Do the same thing here, all the borders. Then I'll give a quick preview to see if it's going to print. So it's still a little big. Even if I change it all here, still a little big. So I want to make it fit. So to be honest with you, I just want to know that it's going to Carteret, New Jersey here. Some of these titles, I don't need all of this as long as I have the beginning here, so I can get rid of that part to make the columns a little smaller. Then I should be able to shrink it down and it will fit. I might be able to change it back to portrait, and yes I can. And then what I will do is I will print this out, and then I will use this to make sure that I put the right books in the right shipment. Once I am done, with this shipment, or I should say as I begin to work on it, I will say work on the shipment. Keep clicking on the wrong screen, sorry about that. Okay, and now it's saying, so basically it's FBA, there's the ID number, obviously your address will be here, ships to, all the other kind of good stuff. And what you will do from here is basically you will, let me get myself out the way. UPS, like I said, is the best way to go ahead and keep it. Share shipment. Are you going to share it with your supplier? No, you're not going to worry about that at all. Please select an option. All of this is going to go in one box. When you create that, it's showing you all the books. So I have to put them all in a box, weigh them, put the measurements, and then I would hit confirm. So unfortunately, I have to do that before I can show you the next steps, because this is something that you can't pre-do. You can't pre-package it like, let's say, you could if you were doing an eBay shipment and have everything pre-packaged, because you don't know how things are going to get split up between different areas. Sometimes you can get lucky and everything will go to 1. Sometimes it'll go to 3. So it all depends on how it is. So I will pause here. When I come back, I should have all this information to fill in here and take it the rest of the way home. All right, so I've packed everything up. I got it in this box right here. Yep, it's an eBay box. I will probably take a couple of white labels from my thermal printer and put them over them so they don't see it. But this box is 10 by 8 by 6. And it weighs 4 pounds, 14 ounces. Now, if you notice over here, it's the weight per the box. So it's 4 pounds, but you don't put 14 ounces because it's box weight by that. So what I do when I'm not sure is I will open up Google and I will just do a search, ounce to pounds. I will put in 14 ounces. 14 ounces, and that says it's 0.875. I'll round that up to 0.88. So this will be 4.88 pounds. Okay, that's what I'll put there. So I come over here, 4.88. My box is 10 by 8 by 6. I will click on confirm. Then I will click on calculate and ship this box to New Jersey. It's going to bill at the 5-pound rate. It's going to be $5.35. So one of the things I will do is I will come back here and I will make sure that this says that it is currency, and I will put down 5.35. I wish I had more stuff going, because for 6 items, I mean, that's, that's a lot of shipping, but, there's not a lot, we could do about it. I know in some third-party software, you can decide and you can do certain things to put where you want all your stuff to go. You could actually pay an extra fee per item to make it go everywhere. But right now, I'm just trying to, get the stuff boxed up and get it as soon as we'll get it where it has to go. So I would agree to these. Click on here. Then I'm going to say agree, accept the charges. And now it will give you the shipping labels. Now, I have a Zebra thermal printer, and it has had a problem finding it. I don't know why, but it just doesn't link up right. So I don't use this part right here. I do the box label part, so I'm using. It says a paper size of a blank 8.5 by 5.5 U.S. letter. Uh, what I will do is I will just hit print box labels. Now, if you don't have a thermal printer, what you want to get is the full 8.5 by 11 single sheet label, and then you will cut it. I was doing that, but I don't like that because if it gets wet. So what I do is I use my thermal printer, and I have a sample label that I'm going to show you of what I would do. But basically, you're going to print this. It's going to make it into a PDF, and then you will print it. And what will happen is the PDF will look like it'll come across something along these lines. And to print it is actually very simple. What I do is I come over here to the percentage, and I'll drop it down to about 100%. Then I'll come over here to the window, and I'll rotate it clockwise. And there's a feature in Adobe where if you say edit, you could say take a snapshot. And then what you do is you highlight what you want to print. It will say selected area has been copied. If you want to not see this message, click the little box. I just say okay. And then it says what, so then I'll come back up here to say print. And I will go to my Zebra printer. And then when I hit print, it will print out. And again, this is just a sample, but it will print out that label for me on this, and then I will do the exact same thing for this part here. All I do is come over here, do this like this, and you go through the exact same process. You hit print, you hit print again, and then that is your FBA label. And you need both of these labels. It's recommended that you put them on the side of the box, not the part that you tape. If you're going to put them on the side that you tape because maybe you're using a thin box, make sure you do not put this over that taped edge. Okay, make sure you have enough room to leave them separate. But these two labels will go on the box, and then you take it to the UPS, you drop it off, and you're done. And that basically is how you create an FBA shipment. Prepping them, the products, again, if you're a lot of stuff, you'll have to see what it will tell you to do. It'll tell you whether you need to polybag them, whether you don't. It's your choice as to what you want to do. The one thing I will tell you is this: when you are putting something in a polybag, okay, now this I'm just going to use as an example. You need to make sure that the label that you put on, that little barcode, can be seen. So when I take this and I put it in this poly bag, okay, I want to make sure that where I'm going to put that label, which is going to be right here, right there, can be seen by Amazon's scanner. You don't want to have it to where it would be blocked by the words of the poly bag, right? You wouldn't want it like that to where now there's words on the poly bag blocking it. You want to make sure that that label can be seen. Again, there are certain things that you're going to have to poly bag, and when you go into that prep screen, it'll tell you what you need to do. Fragile stuff, you want to make sure that you you bubble wrap that, and then you put that in a poly mailer. If you're going to send two of something and you put it in a poly bag, make sure you put a label on that says sold as a pair, do not separate. So, you may have to buy labels like that, or you could make labels like that. If you could make a little something, use those 30 up labels. I just use my thermal printer, and I'll just try and get as many as I can on a sheet, and then just, on a 4x6 and cut them. So there's a lot of things you could do. As you do more and more, again, you will get better at it. But with that, that is the end, but it's the beginning for you. It may be the end of this video series, and um, maybe I'll do another one on smaller stuff. Maybe I'll do an eBay one. I do dabble a little bit on Poshmark. That would be a good one. You would learn as we go through it and everything. That might be a little more, listing and stuff. If you're not on Poshmark and you want to cross post and everything. But I appreciate you coming by. I really do. Thank you very much for watching. Again, if it's good information and you like it, and it's something that you enjoy doing, and because I enjoy making them, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to see more, please go ahead and hit the subscribe and the bell, and you'll know when I post another video. I am part of a reselling group called the Friends in Reselling, FIR Reselling, and we're actually going to start to do a live show, or a couple live shows a week. We're trying to figure that part out, but stay tuned for seeing that type of stuff. And again, everything that I use, it'll be in the description box below. It is an affiliate link, so if you do click on it and you buy it, I may get a couple of cents for it. So with that, as always, go out there and make them an offer that they can't refuse. I'll talk to you again. Bye.